Hey guys, welcome to Hooked, the Kayak Anglers Resource. Guys, we are super excited about our episode today. We got Danny Bracken, a customer of ours that we've had some really cool experiences with. We are bringing him onto the show. Just let him talk a little bit about what he's done.
Yeah, it's really cool. He came in a couple weeks ago and bought a kayak and really enjoyed it, and just kind of realized it didn't really fit him. And so, unfortunately, he was kind of bummed out about that, but came in and talked to us. We reached out to him as well because he had listed it on Facebook and kind of went that route. But it was really cool to bring him back in the shop and take care of him and get him into a boat that he really liked. And we'll get to talk to him about that here in just a second. It's a really cool story. I'm glad to have customers like that and be a part of that story.
Very cool guy, man. And we're excited to have him on the show and actually get just to interact with him, man. We're hoping actually we can get on the water with him at some point because he's just a good dude. So, hey, one thing we want to talk about today, guys, a little bit is kayaking. What is kayaking as far as, we talk about the angler's resource, and yes, we want to make sure that we're talking about the angler. But you know what, guys, if you're just someone who likes to float, a lot of our kayaks, what makes them a fishing kayak is when you start throwing the accessories on.
Yeah, man. I mean, as soon as you got that, rod and your accessories, you're fishing at that point. But any of our kayaks from top to bottom, you can paddle, you can pedal them, you can throw a motor on them, and you don't have to be fishing out of them. And the upside to that is you're going to get a lot better boat than typical, big box stores, your Bass Pros, your Dick's Sporting Goods. You're going to get a more stable kayak. You're going to get a kayak that's going to be much more enjoyable on the water. Just overall better experience. So, we talk about, we're eco fishing shop, but at the end of the day, if you get a boat and you're just kayaking, more power to you.
It's a win, man. I tell you, the two things that we really focus on, or our manufacturers really focus on when it comes to a kayak, is stability and comfort. And if you're just the average person who just wants to float, I mean, what's better than stability and comfort? I mean, we get people in that talk about that, and I'm like, take a look at what we have, because you're not going to be sitting in the bottom of a wet kayak all day. And, I know with both Johnathan and I, one thing is, our wives like to go, but they don't want to fish. Well, instead of putting them in a Lifetime or just some cheap box store kayak, they're more apt to enjoy going with you if you put them in a good quality kayak. And that's why we, both of our wives, like, a fishing kayak. And it's got a comfortable seat. They can sit in it all day. If they want to fish, they can fish. We're definitely not saying that the wives don't fish, because a lot do. But it gives them the ability to just to be comfortable all day.
Yeah, Sarah goes out and she's got, as long as she's got her cooler and a book and her sunglasses and maybe a fishing rod, she's just happy as a clam to be out there. And it also gives me a sense of relief knowing that she's in a better kayak, that I don't have to, not that I don't worry about her, but I don't have to worry about her flipping that kayak or being unstable or being uncomfortable or, hey, I'm done, I don't want to do this anymore kind of deal. It's a huge factor when you want to just get on the water and enjoy some time, whether it's with your wife or your kids or your family or whoever, but it really changes the way you get out on the water and spend that time.
Yeah, and to be honest, my wife, we haven't found it yet. My wife does not like the water. She enjoys being out there, but it scares her to death on a canoe or, so our first experience was canoe. Hated that. I did as well, to be honest. But we're trying to find her the right kayak now. And Johnathan and Sarah are going to be a big part of that, because we get to go out, and Sarah is considerably more comfortable. But my wife, Melody, we're going to try to look at, a Hobie, an Old Town, a Jackson, and just try to find the right kayak, a Van Hunk. I mean, because the Van Hunks are very stable, and stability is 100% her focus. So, if you guys, if you are just an avid kayaker, not an angler, or you have someone going with you, whether that be a son, a daughter, a grandson, your wife, your girlfriend, a buddy that is not as much about the fishing but just wants to get on the water. I highly recommend checking out either Eco or your local shop, but finding a fishing kayak because of the way they're made, because of the whole design, because of comfort level. Weight capacity is another huge thing. If all you like to do is go on the river and you're going to have 1 to 2 cases of frosty beverages in your kayak, a fishing kayak is made for a man, woman, and their gear. I mean, it's made for you to load up. And so you don't have to find a kayak that is got a bunch of compartments and a bunch of holds and a bunch of things like that. Look for a fishing kayak that just has the weight capacity that's going to hold the products, or the equipment that you're going to take, whether that be fishing equipment or coolers or camping gear. I mean, I have some friends that they float, they're hardcore floaters, and they float and they go 10 days and they sandbar it and they camp. And a couple of them fish, a couple of them don't, but they have the kayaks. They're all fishing kayaks, and all of those kayaks are really set up for them to be comfortable.
Yeah, you definitely get a better boat. You may be a higher price point than Walmart or Dick's or something like that, but you get a lot better boat and a lot more enjoyable time. Talking about, kayaking and fishing, all of the eco fishing, not all of them, but the majority. We had 6 guys off our pro staff go to Palm de Terre recently.
Fishing the Camo tournament.
The Camo, Kayak Anglers in Missouri. Shout out to them for, letting us be a part of that and join on that. And we had a really good showing. I was really impressed. We had Robbie on here 2 episodes ago, and he ended up winning it, taking home first prize, taking home big bass. I needed one more fish. And
the hammer.
I would have took home big bass.
He beat this one guy for big bass. Robbie did by a 1/4 inch. That guy.
Yeah. Whatever. Hey, congrats, Robbie. Seriously, great job. I think myself, Ryan Reed, and Jake, I think we all ended up, taking home some lunch money. But overall, I mean, it was a great event. I think it was really good for Robbie to get in that spot, especially being his first year. Because, MOYAC's, competitive. There's national tournaments that are super competitive. Where Camo's more of a definitely a beginner where they've got some different groups. Kayak group, and you can get in there and compete against some of the people that have been doing it a while. But it was really cool to see Robbie and him light up and have a good day.
Yeah, and I highly suggest if you are whatever state you're in to look around at all the different trails. MOYAC has gotten really big and really competitive, and it's awesome for guys like you and Chad Davidson and Lance Burris and the guys that are really heavy hitters. But Chad and some of those guys, they fish Camo as well. I love the fact that Camo breaks out into divisions. So you have 3 different divisions when you go fish. Robbie fished in the novice because he's a first year kayak angler, won the entire overall, also won his division and won big bass and went home with $983. So, I suggest looking around, kind of fishing a little bit of everything and just learning what's out there. We know, Josh Booth and the guys at MOYAC are great people. And Steve Lehman and some of the guys over at Camo, also great people. Spread it around, go out there and look at what's available to you and just see what you enjoy. We've done both. Both are great run organizations. And we really enjoyed Palmy and all the group at Camo. They're just good people. Haven't decided whether it's Camo or Camo yet. I just say Camo. He says I say Camo. He says Camo. But regardless, good people, good showing. A lot of fun at that tournament.
Yeah, seriously, Robbie, congrats, man. Congrats on your big bass as well. Even though we tied, but we won't talk about it. And I think mine weighed more. But anyways, congrats to you guys and great job. And that's what's cool about, we talked about it before, but Tourney X is a huge resource for you as far as if you want to get into tournaments. You don't have to have a kayak to fish in these tournaments. There's a lot of bank kayak fishermen There's certain rules and stuff that you got to follow, but there's a lot of opportunity for you to get involved in tournament fishing. I know when I first started, I was like, man, I want to fish bass tournaments, but I don't have a bass boat. I don't know anybody with a bass boat. And you think about that, but now there's so many opportunities just for you to fish competitively if you want. I know with me growing up, I played sports. I football, basketball, baseball. I was always competitive, and something just about that, was amazing for me. And that's, I think, where I get that from is fishing against, in tournaments and challenging and being competitive. And I mean, maybe that's not your cup of tea. And I think that's our goal here is like we said, to be a resource, to be, something that, whether you're a first-time angler or you don't even care about angling and you want to get in a kayak just for pleasure, we want to, help you guys out however we can.
For sure. And I'll tell you, when you fish all the different trails, you really learn. We've got Mason Brock in a little bit of a slump. The more he can be in the water, the better. Hayden Randall is one of our pro staffers, my son. He put all of his, and this is one thing that you guys can really learn when it comes to Tourney X and things like that. Hayden had all of his pictures in Tourney X, but he didn't have good cell phone coverage. So he waited until the end and got him in at 3:02, missed the cutoff, didn't get his fish in. Bummer of a deal, but he's learning. He's learning every single time. Johnathan told him, hey, put those fish in the live well. Then when you get service, then you can just kick them right over to upload. So there's a lot of different things that we hope that we can teach in here. And we learn them as our anglers fail or have problems and make mistakes. But, those are mistakes that you learn from.
Yeah.
So, I think that KMO was a great event for us. It was a great event for KMO. We look to do more. I know they have the Battle of Brookfield coming up. That's something that we're going to be in, put some guys into. Stockton's coming up with Moyak. I know we're going to have some guys in that. And, all of our local trails we're lucky here in Missouri because our local trails are just really, really well run, really good group of men and women.
Yeah, from east to west, north to south, there's a tournament for you here in Missouri, and we're very fortunate to have that where, some states they only may have one club and it's kind of spread out all over the place and you can't get a big group of guys together. So we're definitely blessed to have that. Well, let's get Danny on here. Let's talk to him. It's a really cool story as far as a customer. And I mean, honestly, before Danny coming in here to Eco, no clue who he was and just wanted to talk to him, but he's got a good story about his experience with us. And I think he's really happy now. He's
the common man, guys. He is the guy that came in here, not a tournament fisherman, not, just wanted to, drowned a worm now and then type of guy. Lives on Lake of the Ozarks, really just wanted to get into the sport. Walked in the door, saw what we had to offer, and coming up, you'll hear his experiences. Hey, guys, we want to welcome Danny Bracken to the show. Guys, Danny is a customer of ours. He came in, picked up a big fish, 103, got that out on the water, realized that wasn't the kayak for him. Came in, we refitted him out on an Old Town 120. We thought he would be perfect for the show to bring him in and kind of talk about what made those changes and why he did that. First of all, welcome to the show, Danny.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man, we're glad to have you a part of here, especially you being a local guy and coming into our storefront. A lot of our customers are online, so that's kind of tough sometimes to build a relationship with them. Sure. But it's really cool seeing you being local and being in the area. And tell us about yourself. Tell us, kind of what you do and what got you into kayak fishing.
Well, it's fairly recent actually, and you guys have been a big help because I didn't know the various levels of kayaks, that there was available. And I've played on kayaks. Most people they have one laying on a dock or, but then when I posted an ad out looking for kayaks, and then I went on Marketplace, and you guys had a really nice ad of the shop here, and I saw the pictures, and as soon as I seen the shop, I messaged, and Travis got right back to me, And he says, well, we're in Camdenton. And I thought, no way, you know, I'm right up the road. I've got to go. So next morning I was in the Jeep heading this way. And man, just blown away when I seen the shop. But yeah, it's coming in here and seeing all the various boats, the kayaks, you know, paddle boards, everything. It's just, you could say I've got the fever right now, you know?
Yeah. Well, and we talked to our some of our viewers on the ability to, whether it's this shop or your local shop or just through buddies, of getting in kayaks and trying them. So you got on the 103 first, which I will say, you know, you had mentioned that you have a Lifetime, you know, and some of your, you know, more box store kayaks.
Yep.
First of all, let's go with this. Between the box store kayaks and the Big Fish, what was that transition?
Huge. I mean, I didn't even know this world existed outside of the box store kayaks, you know, and I'm not saying they're bad. My wife uses one, and she enjoys it. It's nice. It's light. There's times where I wish I could grab mine the way I do hers and just take it down, throw it in the lake. But, man, and the 103, I loved the 103 for a lot of reasons, and then there were some things that just didn't fit me perfect. And, you know, as you've mentioned before, that's the importance, you know, of getting into these boats and trying them, you know, coming in and seeing your local shops, talking to your guys that know, you know, but definitely just a world of difference, you know, in the quality and in the build, the marksmanship, you know, and it's just, I couldn't believe the difference, you know, I mean, really. Stability is what I was looking for, being on the lake, you know, I go outside the cove in a box store kayak, and you're probably going swimming at some point, you know. And that 103, you know, I like to go out when I get a new kayak, and I just tip it, you know where my tip point is, practice climbing back in it, you know, then I know for safety if I end up in a situation. But I tried, the 103 was difficult. I mean, and, you know, the Old Town 120 now, it's definitely considerably more stable than any other, you know, say a box store kayak I've been in. I mean, what a difference.
Yeah, man, it's really cool. It's really cool to kind of hear your story, because, you know, you came in and you're kind of bummed out. You know, you listed it on Facebook, and we all know how Facebook goes. It's either like, I'll give you this much cash and it's not even worth, you know, or is it still available, or no response there. But it really speaks volumes to going to your local shop. You know, we do online as well. We do great online, and that's maybe the best avenue for somewhere. But whether it's eco fishing shop or some other, you know, kayak shop, it really takes your benefits are going to that shop and checking them out, putting your hands on them and touching them. And with your situation, it was a little bit different, but that's where demos come in. Yeah. And that's where, you know, we want to get to where we're doing those more and more. And that way we can put a guy in 3 different boats and do that. Which, I mean, you kind of got that in a sense. You know, I think that 103, like you said, it's a solid boat, but it just didn't fit you. Yeah. And that's the biggest thing.
And if I would have listened to you in the first place, but I have an issue with patience, as anybody that see this would know, that knows me. But yeah, you recommended that, and my first thought was, I want to get on the water today, you know, because actually I think my initial call was actually for an Old Town 106, and I thought, well, they don't have it. He said it'd be about a week, you know, and so I was, you know, have to be on the water. So next, you know, move to the next thing. But, you know, you recommended that, and now, you know, the importance of that is, you know, it's vital people sit in them and try them. You know, I mean, even if you have to sit in it, you know, in a swimming pool, I don't care. You need to sit in that boat.
Even coming in here, you know, we've had guys that come in here and we'll set the kayak on the floor. That way they can just sit in it. You know, we've got other stands that you can sit in the kayak while it's on the stand, so there's not a lot of movement. But that's one thing, going to a store that you can, you know, get in the kayak, you can touch it, you can feel it, you can see it, and it's a big difference. And it's really glad that, you know, one, that you came to us, you know, back to us and say, hey, I'm not there yet. And hopefully your guys' kayak shop would do that with you and work with you. And so we've got you in a better kayak, and it seems like you're a lot happier now.
Oh, I'm very happy. I've actually spent the last 2 days in it, and I'm very happy. And just the feeling I got from the shop here, from you guys, I was because I always, just personally, I'm like, maybe I don't want to go back, and I don't want them to feel like, well, hey, this is what you wanted, So, you're a little nervous when you come back to the shop with it, but you guys were excellent, and it just turned out better than I expected, and I'm happier than I started a month ago, so it worked out good. But
that's great. And you guys that aren't local, you can go on the forums and we can help the same way. We can work with you no matter where you live. This is kind of what we love to do. So definitely hit us up on the forums or email or call the shop, whatever. We can help in any way and make sure to get you guys in the right boat. We had a guy in just yesterday, picked up his boat today, but he had a bad back. And I mean, we took every kayak that is on our sales floor and set it down and let him get into it. His last question of the day was, so are there scratches and stuff on the bottom of these? I said, well, there weren't before you came in, but, probably got a few marks now because we've put every one of them on the floor. But he was the same way. He lived quite a ways away. And we told him, we said, man, with your back issues, get in every boat, sit in it, see if you're comfortable, sit in it for a while. Let's just shoot the breeze while you're just, sitting in the boat. I think it's important to really, especially for new people into kayaking, the kayak fishing comes along. Let's talk about that a minute. So, I'm not sure how long you've been fishing, but, our lake will humble you pretty quick. It's also eye-opening because it's a very rough water lake.
Yeah.
So when we put people out there, we want to make sure that they're in a boat that'll handle whatever body of water they're in. If you're a river guy and we know that it's going to run pretty hard, we're going to try to put you in a boat that'll handle that. And the Lake of the Ozarks, we know, a 12-footer, probably, you were looking for a 106.
Yeah.
Johnathan's kind of pushing a 120.
Yeah.
But we're kind of doing that because we know that when you get out there, you're going to be ultimately the most comfortable in that boat. So how do you feel fishing out of that boat? And, just overall comfort, because I know you said you had some back issues as well.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the boat that you have now and just your ability just to maneuver and fish and just comfort?
Yeah, it's excellent. I mean, I think your advice on going with the 12-footer was good advice. Just going out to the mouth of my cove, I'm trying to find those fish that I can't find right now. And you get out there and get into some of those wakes, and like I said, this lake can get pretty rough. I live on the lake, so it's convenient for me to throw it in the lake. Honestly, I haven't even been to a river in it, and that's something I want to do in the near future, very near future. But the difference between the length of the 10-foot 6 and the 103 and the 12-foot and the 120, it does make a difference. And I also notice it in my drifting and my spinning. I'm not spinning in a circle.
Right.
But as far as stability and the way it handles the wake and stuff, it's excellent, really.
So he like Travis said, he came in and got a 3 Waters Big Fish 103 with the pedal drive. Really liked it. Stability's there. The seat probably wasn't as comfortable for you with having a lower back issue. So
lower seat.
Correct.
Yeah.
Lower seat. Your feet were up higher pedaling, which that's somewhat normal for some kayaks depending on which model. And then what we did is we came and swapped them out for a Old Town Sportsman 120, just the paddle version. Now going from the pedals to the paddle, which one do you prefer?
Probably for the fishing, I think I like the pedals. The pedals, but I've also only been out in this twice, and I haven't been paddling kayaks for very long, other than playing around. So I have a lot to learn in my paddling technique alone. But I do like especially, the feel-free drive is nice because you can do the instant reverse. And I really like to be able to, I could keep myself in one spot, reach down, bump the rudder, and it just, So it's a learning process. I can't really speak too much to which one's better, but my own opinion right now, I like the pedal drive. My bank account probably likes the paddle, but I wanted an Old Town when I first called. Just the research I've done myself, and most of these folks watching probably know. Everybody sits on YouTube for hours and watches reviews, but like you said, until you can get in that boat and know, I watched 103 reviews and I watched 108 reviews. And I knew it was the boat for me, But had I went out a day and sat in both of them, I would have known I think this seat feels a little better in this, in the top water. And it would have probably swayed my decision even more. But
I saw Danny on Marketplace, and he was looking for somebody to put a riser on his seat. So as soon as I saw that, I kind of messaged, and I was like, I know where we're headed with this deal, because as soon as we see that Eco Fishing Shop sticker on the side of it, and he's trying to modify, I was like, man, I think he's probably going to look for a different boat. So when we got the call, it was great to get him in the right boat, and so. Now, next step is, you got the wife and kids. So, any other fishermen or any other options you're looking at for that?
My wife, she really took to it, and like I said, we had a kayak laying around that we would play on, but it just, it wasn't like being in one of these boats, in one of these boats really is what kind of got me stuck now. But since I got mine and I was out on the water, she wanted to be on the water too. So she's been out there paddling with me, and she'll probably appreciate that I have a paddle kayak now instead of a pedal drive.
It's not looking at the back of your head so much.
Yeah. She was pretty fast though. I will give her that. But she's took to it, and she just loves it, so far. And we're really excited to get out and try some of the new, rivers that we haven't paddled or anything around here. We've been looking for information from people on Facebook from the lake area and stuff of rivers in the area. The kids, my son, I have a 9-year-old boy, and he's really taken to it as well. He likes to climb in, and he'll ride on the bow of the thing, and stuff like that. So he really enjoys it too. We may have to buy another kayak in the future here, but it's been a lot of fun. We're really looking forward to it and excited about it.
This is what we live for. I mean, honestly, Danny, we appreciate you for sure. This is what we do all day, every day, and we're passionate about the sport. So when guys come in and they just want to talk about it and figure it out, it's what we love to do. So
let's dive into that a little bit. A lot of the online customers don't get to see our storefront. Danny, you coming in, what would you compare our storefront to a big box store? Like, just not before you even talk to Travis or I, just kind of your impression. We're here in the store, but these guys they see 1% of it. And just kind of tell us what you thought and your first impressions when you got here.
Well, my first impression was extremely impressed because I didn't know this existed. I didn't know this world existed, to be honest with you. I mean, anyone who's watching this is probably into either fishing or kayaking or boats or what, in some form or another. And, most of us have been to Bass Pro Shops and that, when I walked in, just impressed at first at the setup. It's just an amazing store. But you just can't get, and I had an example today, I won't name any places, but you just don't get that personal relationship like you do a place like this.
And that's huge for us too.
It's enormous. I can come in here and I don't feel like you want me to get out the door. I can just follow you around while you're working, and putting electric bikes together and things like that, and I can bother you and ask questions. And because I get so excited to come in when I see these things at home and I'm watching on YouTube or I'm, on the forums and everybody's, I'm on do-it-yourself kayak forums. And every day I'm seeing something new I need to do, So then I just got to come down here, ask you guys, get your opinion. You guys have been doing it so long that, your advice has been extremely helpful. But the store is great. And to be able to come to a place, and I'm just amazed, when I came in earlier, I asked about an anchor system.
Right.
I was online looking at anchor systems, and I'm waiting for shipping. I come in and your prices are actually better than the stores I'm seeing online. And I'm thinking, oh, well, this can't be right, because generally, and I own a small business, so I'm not trying to, speak against a small business, but generally, you go into a shop locally, and sometimes things are a little higher.
Yeah.
But everything I've found that I've been interested in ordering or purchasing, I've came in here, and the price has been as good or better.
Good.
And that fish finder that's in there, well, my wife might see this.
That's the bug. Every time somebody walks in, they're like, "Oh, my wife's going to kill me."
Yeah.
and they get a little something. Danny picked up an anchor wizard and a DeBalm anchor today, and I think that's going to be a nice add-on to the 120. You know, when you come in and you get a chance to actually just shoot the breeze with us, and I know a lot of times we're busy and it's, you know, we got stuff going, but man, that's just what we live for. You know, Danny came in today and he's like, so where are the crappie biting? Well, we don't know everything about everything, but I'm like, hold on a minute. So I call my buddy that's in Crappie Masters, and I'm like, so if you were fishing for crappie right now, where would you go? What would you do? What would you use? He gave us the information. I give it to Danny. That's kind of what we try to do here.
Yeah, that was really. I didn't know that's actually. I thought you jumped on the phone and just went away from the conversation. He was giving me some helpful pointers, you know, on baits, and I thought, well, he must not really be. But you came back and you said, hey, just got off the phone with the guy, and he told me this is what you want to, what you want to do. And we know it's not spawn season, Of course, that's when you think you're a fisherman. I can go out there. Man, look, I got my limit in 20 minutes, just dropping in one hole.
Yeah.
But they're tough. And I'm not. I mean, I'm first to admit I'm not a great fisherman. I don't have a ton of experience. I'm learning as I go, but. It's tough right now for me. I mean, I'm not catching a whole lot, Well,
I'm excited to get on the water with you sometime. We'll have to go find a river. I always tell people, especially when we get people who are lake or river people, that 120s to me is the sweet spot. I think the 136 is a great lake boat. It's tough on the river because it's so big and hard to maneuver. A 10.6 is great on the river. In certain lakes like ours, it's almost not enough boat.
Yeah.
I think the 120 is just a sweet spot, so I think you're sitting. Yeah. I think you're in the right boat.
Yeah.
I think it's perfect.
I think so too. I think it was, good advice from you guys and research I've done, myself, and then using the kayak for the last couple days. I know that, and as we said, there was nothing wrong with the other boat, but everybody, fits. It's like a pair of shoes, You got to try it on, and they all fit everybody different, And
we'll have to take him out to that sweet spot that
I like sweet spots.
I thought we talked about
the honey hole that every single customer that walks in knows about.
We talked to Robbie on the couple episodes. No, we talked to Robbie. I told Robbie about a place that I like to go fish around here. I'll tell you about it once we get done with this. Okay, I'll tell you. And so he told Robbie. Well, Robbie told somebody. Travis told somebody. And now everybody knows about my spot. And so, when Robbie was on here, we talked about my spot. And I just wanted to make it clear that it was my spot to begin with.
It's his spot. But every time we had a customer come in today, Clark Lowe, great guy, new canoe guy, bought him a new pivot drive. And he came in today and he's from Springfield area. He's like, I'm going to take this down to the spot. And I told him, I said, your secret spot is not a very good secret because there's people coming from miles away that come down here and don't go to Lake of the Ozarks. They go to that spot.
I should be honest. I'm really not worried about it because I've even taken people to that spot and they haven't caught a fish all day, and I just
that's me. You can tell me anything because that fish finder in there is going to do no good for me. I probably won't even buy a battery. We'll just park it on the rail and
just for looks.
Yeah,
there you go.
So I go by and wave.
Resale value only.
Yeah, looks good with the new Yak Attack net in the back.
There you go. Dry net.
Dry net, never been in the water. Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
So what does the future hold for you? We talk about this. Johnathan's a pretty heavy tournament guy. Does really well in tournaments. I am a recreational guy. I've done a tournament here and there, but I'm a recreational guy. Is that kind of that's where you want to stay? Are you ever going to do any kind of tournament stuff, or just totally enjoy the Lake of the Ozarks?
It really sounds fun, and I wish I was at the level I think someday I would like to try a tournament, just because what do I have to lose other than if there's an entry cost, but recreational, I really like the recreational side of it, and that can change as it grows and we'll see where this ends up, but right now I like the recreational side of it, and and I shouldn't say if I can't catch any fish, but when I don't catch any fish, a lot of times the Bluetooth speaker comes on. And me and the wife, we just like to go out and just drift. We go out to the mouth of the cove and float, watch the boats go by, ride the waves, and that 12-footer works good for that too.
Oh yeah. I tell people that all the time on kayak fishing. You know, it's like if you can't just put everything down and have a smile on your face, you're not looking around.
Yeah.
You know, because it's just a decompression.
Yeah. And that's an excellent point. I actually felt that this morning. You know, I've been so excited about getting in this new kayak that I got out on the water. I mean, first thing this morning, you know, I'm wheeling it down a 45-degree slope, you know, down a ramp, trying to get it down on my little Malone cart, you know, rocks. And I get down there and I don't want to scratch the bottom of it. You know, it's brand new still, you know. And so, I mean, I look just ridiculous trying to put this thing in the water. You know, the gentleman that's my neighbor that allows me to go down he comes out, if you need a hand, you just let me know, but you look like you're trying to figure it out, you know. But that was kind of the sense that you mentioned, you know, as I found myself so concerned with getting out there, and if I don't catch a fish, you know, if I don't start pulling fish in, you know, I almost started to feel like there was a pressure there and I just have to stop and float and paddle around for a little bit, you know, and just realize that I'm out here for fun, you know, and not that I have to catch fish to justify the purchase of this kayak, because we enjoy it without the fishing too.
And that's what's really cool about kayaking is if you got people that buy a kayak and they're like, all we're going to do is go float down the river. And then you got guys like me that like, I'm going to go fish tournaments out of my kayak, and it's two different kinds of pressure.
Yeah.
But it's still enjoyable. And you know, like I love the pressure of competing and trying to catch fish and whatnot. And I get that joy, you know, from catching a fish. But at the end of the day, spending a day on the water, if I blank at a tournament, I can't complain about that time on the water in a kayak, because I don't have to mess with the bass boat. I don't have to fill it up with gas. It's not it's not cheap right now. Wherever you know, I don't have to insure it. I don't have to worry about storing a big old bass boat. And that's one thing that I personally enjoy too, is just as much as you get out there and relax, to me it's the same thing. At the end of the day, I'm on the water and I don't know where else I'd rather be.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm probably spending more time on the water lately than I should be. I probably should get back to work. But is yours driven by a trolling motor?
Yeah.
So is it registered?
It is. So anything here in Missouri, anything with a motor, you've got to register it.
Okay, and that's funny because it came back to when you were talking about you didn't have to fill up with gas. And I was paddling around. Actually, we may have been in our John boat. We have a little John boat too, and me and the wife will get in that sometimes and just go around our cove and see the neighbors out on the docks, you know. And we came around the corner probably 2 weeks ago or so, and the neighbor was out, and I came around the corner and I yelled out to him. I said, "Hey," they're not going to get me on those taxes, you know. And he just started laughing because, you know, paddling's not fun sometimes in a John boat, and you're just out, and then here come the jet skis, you know.
Oh yeah.
But it was kind of funny because he just got a new boat, you know, really nice old 69 wood boat. It's got a 327 Corvette motor in it, you know.
Wow.
And I came around the corner in that boat, rowing the boat, you know, and I says, "They're not hitting me on property taxes."
Oh yeah, I like to paddle out or shoot out to the middle of a cove and just sit there, kick back, fishing or not fishing, and just relax and say, I could care less how much a gallon gas is today.
Yeah.
Right now,
definitely.
It doesn't matter to me at all.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the beauty of kayak fishing or kayaking at all.
Yeah.
That is a good point. You know, I highly suggest if you are not a fisherman at all, look at a kayak fishing vessel, because we get a lot of people that get them because a fishing kayak is made to be stable. Most of them are made to stand in. Doesn't mean you have to stand, but it means the stability is set up so you can, and they're all made to sit in all day long. So your comfort and stability in a fishing kayak is far superior to any of your standard kayaks. And a lot of our brands, the only thing that turns it into a fishing kayak is when you start putting your accessories on it.
True.
Before that, I mean, there's track on it. You can put a phone holder and a cup holder on it.
Yeah.
It's not a fishing kayak. It's floating and you know, just hanging out. And we have a lot of people. We got, you know, 65, 70-year-old couples that'll come in here and get them, and they want to make sure that a glass of wine will fit right here.
Yeah.
And a Miller Lite will fit right there. And they're just shooting around the cove, just enjoying it.
You know, I have to be honest, the cup holders were the selling, you know, that was what did it for me in the time. I was going to buy a cup holder to put on my other one, but this one had them built in, and I'll be honest, I used the cup holder,
Old Town understands what it's about.
Yeah.
But
they got that figured out.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, it's really cool hearing this story and being able to talk to you, and not a lot of people get to see this not being in the shop, but it's really cool for us on a daily basis to work with someone like you and help you out and get you into something that's going to be enjoyable. And so, every time we talk to someone on here, we talk to them about, one accessory or one bait, being fishing. And so since you're still kind of new with your kayak, I don't know if there's a bunch of accessories that you've gotten or not yet, but let's talk about you fishing, whether it's crappie or bass or wherever you fish. What's a lure that you take out with you every time you go out if you're fishing?
Well, probably I like the crankbaits.
Yeah.
I'm big on those right now. And maybe it's because if I can't catch anything else, I get a bluegill,
There you go.
But I like the plastic worms. Been trying to go out to the mouth of the coves, going a little bit deeper. I know the fish aren't moving as fast, so I'm trying to get something, drop it in front of them. I also like the plastic minnows. I use those almost religiously, especially when the crappie are biting. I like to get the silver, but those seem like if I catch anything, it's going to be on one of those.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, if I'm paddling back, and I haven't caught anything, I'll usually tie one of those on, hit a couple docks, and at least catch me something.
Yeah.
Even if it's not a keeper crappie, I can get one.
Yeah. Well, I was going to ask what your first upgrade would be, but I rung you up right before we walked over here on the Anchor Wizard and the DeBalm Anchor. So, we know what you're putting on it first. So
the safety flag.
The safety flag. There you go. That'll be the next
flag.
one. Oh, yeah.
You got a net too, right?
The net, the Yak Attack folding net.
Yeah, Robbie talked about that on one of our other podcasts, that a net was one of his first things to get to.
Yeah, I looked at nets all over, and I seen those in there, and it's just comfortable. The Yak Attack folding net.
Yeah, the leverage landing net it's a tough one. It's a one-arm net, so it's just so much easier to use.
Yeah.
And you get guys that I don't use nets, and then they end up using nets because after you finally do get the one or two that drop off, they're nice to have.
I hope I can use mine someday.
Yeah.
If not, I'm going to start putting bluegill in that thing.
There you go.
I mean, I don't care.
There
I'm
you
not
go.
too proud,
You gotta have
and when you've got a light rod, sometimes
a
small crappie, look out.
Oh, yeah, spawn, you can spider rig. Just put you enough holders up front and just paddle around.
Yeah.
Wait for them to grab.
Yeah. I'll get that net wet eventually.
Exactly. Well, Danny, man, we really appreciate it. We appreciate you taking your time out of your day to come be part of the show. This show is a lot about the new guy to the sport, and so having your opinions and kind of your experiences in going from one kayak to the other, really from the box store kayaks to the 103, which is a great kayak, just not the kayak for you, to the 120 that ends up being something you're so super happy with. We're glad you're happy, first and foremost, and super glad to have you on the show.
Well, I appreciate it. You guys have been great. Been a big help. Yeah, been great working with you, and it's great that I did end up in the boat that I think I'm going to be happy with for a long time. It's been a good experience.
Well, guys, thanks for joining us again. Of course, Danny, we'll have all his social media linked in the description. That way, if you guys want to go talk to him yourself, you're more than welcome to reach out to him. But yeah, we're absolutely glad that you came in today, or not today, but just the last couple of weeks and came to us and talked to us about it, and we really appreciate that too, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, they can go look up my stuff, and I'll have some pictures of those bluegills we talked about.
There you go.
Well, guys, stay tuned for the bluegills from Danny.
Yeah.
There you go. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Guys, we want to thank Danny for coming in. Gosh dang, man, that is what we live for, isn't it?
Yeah, man, it was cool. We got done talking to him, and I think we're going to be here for quite a while just shooting the breeze with him.
Holy cow, man. That guy, he's why we do it. I mean, just a good guy, and just, and he's not a tournament guy yet, and maybe never will be, but he loves the sport. He was talking about to us, off camera, about the fact that he used to take care of a marina in Galveston, and they had just junk kayaks there that they used to do repair with. And he's like, I hated them. I mean, he said, totally unstable. They just were, he said, I never thought I'd be into this. Then he came into the shop, spent a little time, got on the water, and he's hooked, brother. He's
right.
hooked.
That is
and
right.
And that's guys, that's why we're here. That's why we're doing the podcast. It's why we have the forums. I told Danny to get on the forums and on his 120 to, if he had questions or wanted to do anything, start a forum post, find out other guys that have 120s that are looking at the same thing as him. He bought that Anchor Wizard and the DeBomb, was asking about where to put it. I said, you know what? I'm going to tell you where I think you should put it, but start a forum post. Find out from other people what they're doing with theirs and how they're doing it. Great guy, great segment. Look forward to more of those. Just really enjoyed having some time with him.
Yeah, the coolest part is it's open to you all. It'll be linked in the description. It's hooked, the Kayak Anglers Resource. Get on there, just create an account. You can talk about whatever you want, whether it's kayak fishing or not. Anything that has to do with the boat, any suggestions that you want, questions, you can get on there and just talk with like-minded individuals and have it find a wealth of knowledge and maybe even find something that you didn't think about or didn't, think about doing on your kayak or whatever. But it's a great place to just, shoot the breeze with someone, and it doesn't have to be here at the shop.
And hopefully you guys get that. We'll put our phone number on the at the end of the show and our contact information. But guys, we really, I don't want to work at a retail shop. The reason why we love it is the Danny Brackens. And that doesn't have to be just in this shop. If you are in Atlanta, Georgia, or Nova Scotia, if you want to talk kayaking and you want to learn and or teach, and you have things to talk about, man, we love to talk to you. We want to help. We want to be part of it. And hopefully, everybody has a kayak shop close to them that have people that are passionate about the sport, not just employees, because man, it makes a difference. Danny is a very good example of that. One thing that I am super stoked about, and Johnathan and I were just talking about this in the break, this last couple of weeks, we have had some pretty amazing customers.
Yeah.
We've had Bill Link and Dennis and some other guys that have come in and bought just really nice kayaks. Those two guys were both in their 70s, and they both bought MK 106s, which is what I have and probably why I sell it so hard. But I love that boat. But these guys are in their 70s and just getting into it.
Yeah, it's really cool to see guys like those that are just getting a kayak, whether they're fishing or not, still being active, still getting on the water. The other guy, it was Dennis.
Yeah,
he came in here with a cane and probably can barely get in his kayak, but he's gonna go. He's gonna get after it. He's gonna get active. He's gonna get outside. He's gonna enjoy the outdoors, and it's really cool to see that.
Car topped it.
Yeah,
he learned quickly that we're not car topping that, and now he came in and got a trailer from us today. But what the cool thing is he's been in 3 or 4 days this week.
Yeah,
and just shot the breeze and just really talked about it, and just seeing the passion that he has been amazing for us. This guy has seen some serious bodies of water. Bill Link, same way, seen some serious bodies of water. Got him a 106. Put his Garmin on there. We helped do some install work for him as well. And man, it's just super exciting to me to see people that are getting into the sport that late. But then also what we had this week is we had several people who come in and bought kayaks, and either on one instance we had a guy who come in and bought a kayak. He bought a Big Water 132. It's what he wanted. It's what he'd been looking for. That's what he bought. But while he was here, his son, which has been saving his money all summer, 12 years old, decided he wanted a Moken 10, and that's what he wanted to spend his money on. Gosh dang, man.
Yeah.
We were so excited about that. Of course, Mom said, he's spending 3/4 of his savings. All I heard was he still has 1/4 of his savings left. I mean, sweet, good to go. But, and we've had 3 or 4 guys that have come in this week that have bought kayaks and then passed their kayak down to their son, which is 12, 13 years old. We had the family come in that they had a cheaper kayak that the dad bought a really nice kayak, and then his son is taking over his old kayak, but his son is going to do tournaments. They're doing Stockton. They're going to do Moyaks in Stockton, and him and his son are going to do it together. That's what we live for, man. We're getting customers from 12 years old to 70s that they're not just buying bows. They're passionate about the sport and the industry. And I don't think there's no better, register of our industry than that right there.
Yeah, it really shows how much this sport is growing, and how much it's thrived. Even through COVID, I feel like kayaking, in general, whether it's fishing or not, has really changed the game and are just still pumping out numbers that people wouldn't expect. Even with the, getting products and stuff like that, it's amazing to see how many kayaks are coming in and how many kayaks are going out. And the crazy thing is, I'm worried about them 12-year-olds that are coming after me in tournament fishing.
Oh man!
But still, you got to worry about these other guys that have so much knowledge and maybe fish, a couple tournaments and have a huge advantage. But overall, it's really cool to see. Me being a younger guy, I really love seeing those kids come in here. Those younger guys come in and get into kayak fishing and enjoy it, because I know me, it's a passion. It's a lifestyle. It's something I love to do, and maybe my life would be different if I started kayak fishing with my dad rather than going out on the pontoon. But I don't know, man. I always wish, when I first started, I was like, man, why couldn't I start this 5 years ago, 10 years ago?
Yeah.
And it's.
But look at the changes.
Yeah, it's still huge.
In the last 5 years, I mean, you can go 10, but the difference in 10 is so big.
Yeah.
That, I mean, now putting a motor on a kayak is not putting a 2x4 across the back with a tiller handle on it.
Yeah.
Now, you've got a lot of brands that, Old Town, put a hole in a kayak and ask Minn Kota to make it happen.
Yeah.
Beautiful setup. Putting a motor guide on anything.
Yeah.
And having spot lock and live scope and your options are so wide open now, and it's not all fabrication now. There's things that you can buy that are water ready, that are OEM and ready to go, and just and you get these 70-year-olds and 80-year-old guys that we have that they're the kind that are going to do one tournament a year, and they're going to come steal all your lunch money and then go home. They're the kind that go, I got it.
Yeah.
Great guys.
No, it is really cool, and still, with the kayak industry starting where it did, and if you're a tinkerer, if you're a creative person, if you're a fabricator, I mean, the kayak still, even with all the stuff they've done, there's stuff that you can do to improve your way of fishing or just hanging out and relaxing. It's really, really cool to see.
Oh yeah, the game has changed,
yeah,
friends. The game has changed, and we're lucky enough to be part of Eco Fishing Shop, which is really, leaned into that.
They've bought into the culture.
Oh, 100%, and that's why we don't do recreational kayaks. We don't. That's not really our thing. So we really lean into the kayak and the kayak angler and just a comfortable, stable, just love what you're doing kayak. And we also brought on not only the motor guides and the Garmins and that, but we have Yakit and the Bomb and some brands that are slightly regional but growing. But that's how it all started. I tell people all the time, the Yakutat Command Center is awesome, but we built that out of PVC pipe, years ago. And the evolution of our sport it's just been something to behold. Really, it's amazing. I know all of the anglers out there and all of the kayakers out there will tell you. You look at the Greg Blanchards and the Chad Hoovers and some of these guys that what they were doing 10 years ago is so far off of what they're doing now.
Yeah, it's really come a long way. It's amazing.
It's been fun.
Speaking of coming a long ways is tournaments these days. They're national, they're huge, and I know we've talked about it a lot, and we're going to continue to talk about it a lot because we're excited about it and we're passionate about it, and we can't wait to see you guys. That's the Big Bass 250, November 5th. We're not far away, man. We've got to get our ducks in a row and everything.
We do, and I'll tell you what, the next evolution I think of kayak fishing is some of these larger lake-based or regional-based tournaments. I know that Hobie and Kayak Bass Nation or KBF and some of those, they have their bigger tournaments, but I think the next evolution is going to be, the tournaments like what we're doing. The Big Bass 250 is really an open tournament that's based on just everybody and anybody who wants to get in it. You don't have to, earn so many points on a local trail or national trail. It's all comers. And get in the tournament and have a chance to win some serious money. But then also, the fellowship among kayakers is what we're really looking for. And I think we're going to get it, man. I think, we're really wanting to do some things that are going to change the game. In fact, the next 5 people that actually put in will get a special gift that actually join. And anybody that actually signs up between now and August 1st, we'll get a secondary gift that will be nice to actually use in our tournament.
There you go, folks. Got an opportunity to win something. I don't know what Travis has up his sleeve, but it's always better than expected with him. I will say that. So next 5 guys that sign up, you guys are automatically getting one, and then from now until August 1st, we're gonna send you guys a different gift as well, but equally just as great.
Doesn't matter where you're at. I'll send it to your house, boys, girls, whoever, all comers. Hit me up. Let's go. Let's get this done. I'm ready to go. This is we're stoked about this tournament.
We are.
It's going to be a lot of fun. We've been working with some different places locally. I think we're going to go at a PB2. Pretty sure that we're going to do everything right there. Kind of buttoning up some things there, but we're going to have a large tent. That's going to just be a monster, have a stage and the whole works, and we'll get Caleb and Jared down here to do some things, work on some giveaways. Man, it's going to be a big turnout, I believe, and we're going to have a lot of fun doing it.
Yep, it will be, and don't miss out, guys. Get on the ecofishingshop.com. Just type in, search in the search bar, Big Bass 250. Once you pay for it, you'll get an confirmation email, and I'll have a password on there to go over to Attorney X. Enter into that password into Attorney X, and you can get signed up. See your name on the leaderboard. Chance at $20,000.
20 G's.
Let's go.
Let's go. I tell you what, hit me up, email me, call the store, whatever you want to do. I'm open to help out anybody that needs a boat, anybody that needs anything to get in this tournament. We're super excited about it. Come on.
Guys, get down here. Let us know. Let us know how we can help. Just be part of it. It's going to be a great time.
We want to get you hooked.
Absolutely.
Hey, thank you guys for watching. We appreciate this. We're going to keep these coming every Tuesday. All I can say is blessed to be here. Thanks a lot. Thanks to Johnathan, and we'll see you next time.
Adios.